Welcome to this week's edition of the Wheels and Deals Community Spotlight, brought to you by Wheels and Deals of Pomeroy and the Meigs Independent Press.
This is Carrie Rose, Meigs Independent Press, and I'm here again for another edition of Community Spotlight, sponsored by Wheels and Deals. And I have with me someone that is going to talk about an issue that is really important. So if you have a moment, not only listen but share this and make sure that you get a hold of anybody that you might think of that might be interested in helping out with foster care, because we have a really big need. So go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Deanna Watts. I'm employed through Integrated Services as a foster assessor for Meigs, Gallia, and Jackson counties. So that means I recruit and license foster parents in all three counties.
And to say the need is there is probably an understatement.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's worse than it's ever been. Right now, when children have to be removed from their homes for their own protection and safety, they're taken to another county. So in addition to being removed from their families, they're taken away from everything that's familiar to them.
So, and some of these children may never have even been outside of we're talking all ages of children.
Yes.
And they may never even been outside the county. So we're taking them. It's a scary situation. Mm-hmm. It's a devastating situation to be taken away from what you're home, even though it may be in their best interest.
Right.
To do that. And then it's getting compounded with being completely put into a completely different system, a whole different environment.
Yeah, and then it makes it more difficult for the families when they have to coordinate with court dates or family visitations, and they're that much further away.
So how does your organization work as far as how do you get involved? What happens?
Well, the first step is reaching out to a recruiter, which around here is me. There are a couple of private agencies that do it as well. And then the next step is actually signing up for classes. They do 36 hours of training, and we do that usually in 2 weekends. And then after you finish the classes, you decide if you want to move forward with the application process.
So then what happens? If you're now through the education and everything, the application process, what happens?
So you fill out an actual application. There's a background check with fingerprinting. We do a home study. There's a fire inspection. You have to get a statement from your doctor saying that you don't have any major health problems that might interfere with your ability to take care of a child. Usually takes about 3 months for them to get fully licensed and ready to take in kids.
And so then what happens? How do you get the first child?
You get set up with a caseworker from CPS in whatever county that you're in. And so they call you and say, hey, we have this child or these children that are being removed. Are you able to take them?
And then depending on your situation, because some I would imagine some people don't necessarily take in all ages, or maybe they, it just depends on the setup.
Yeah, most people going into it have, an age range in mind. Some want babies. So, they can make that decision, but you may say, I don't want a kid over 5, and then you get a call for a kid who's 8, and you say, I'm ready.
Yeah.
So, and we badly need them for preteens and teenagers. We need homes for the older kiddos.
Because a lot of times people want to take in the children,
Mm-hmm.
the young children, but not, and it is so difficult because you're dealing with adolescents that have been through some things. Mm-hmm. They've seen some things. And this whole thing is traumatic. But somebody needs to take these children.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to care for them. Somebody needs to say they have value. And I know that is something that not everybody can do, and not everybody is in the position to do. But if you are, this is something, again, I say that on here all the time. Meigs County takes care of Meigs County, but you're telling me that sounds like we're not.
Right.
And we need to begin to do that. It's easy to complain about things, but it's different to actually be a part of the solution. And here's a way to be part of the solution. It's not the solution. It's just one step in the process. Because, and I hear that all the time, well, I don't know why they don't take those kids out of the home. Well, they got to have somewhere to put them. Right?
Right.
So tell me a little bit about more what happens in that process. Do they come? Do you need to have clothing for the kids? How does all that work?
Yes, so when they do the home inspection, they make sure that you have beds for them to sleep in, that your car's big enough to haul them around. for any appointments, and then you do need clothes. There is like a monthly allowance that you get per child that kind of helps with expenses related to that child. But we have seen families in the past where maybe somebody has like a little shower for them, their coworkers or something, and get them stuff, just as a way to say, we support you and we're behind you in this.
And that's the way the community can be involved too. Again, not everybody can take in a child, but maybe somebody can help out with someone that does. And that is a noble thing to be able to offer that. How long typically does somebody have same foster care? I mean, I know that every case is different.
Yeah.
But what are you realistically looking at?
Every case is different. I have a friend and she just does like respite care. So if there's, something that happens in the middle of the night and they don't have anywhere to take them right then, she'll do just like on an emergency basis because she's already adopted a couple foster kids. So she doesn't want any long-term placements and she just does that. But placements, range anywhere from a couple of days to a couple of years. So it can become permanent in some situations.
What is something that you would like to tell somebody that maybe they don't, they're not familiar with any of the situation or the system in general that you wish people know, or just something that you wish the public knew?
The thing I hear the most often is, I could never do that. That would be so hard, or I could never give the kids back. It can be kind of hard to argue with that, but I mean, usually I say like it's nothing compared to what the child is going through. But also I think we kind of need to change the narrative. Like when people say I could never give that kid back. Well, in most situations, that kid's not yours to keep. You need to keep it in your mind that the goal in Ohio is reunification when that's possible. So you're caring for that child for as long as you have them, whether it is short-term or long-term, or in some cases permanent.
And you're still impacting that child because there's a reason why they were removed.
Yes.
And if that reason has been then rectified, then they can be put back.
Yeah, hopefully
that's the hope of the foster care system.
Yeah, hopefully while that child is placed out of the home, that parent is working with their own case manager who is trying to help them, get their own issues resolved and get their life back on track so that they are able to care for that child, because that's the ideal situation.
And the concept is there's accountability put in place for the parents. There's accountability, there's education, there's what they need to be in the position that they should be to take care of their own children. Yeah,
they might need counseling or parenting classes or substance abuse programs. So that needs identified and taken care of. And
sometimes it's a legal process because there's criminal charges involved, and there's a criminal case, and there's different things like that are involved as well, and that has to play out. But the key point is we're talking about our children. These aren't children somewhere else. These are our kids right here at home that need care. I've worked enough in the school system that those kids. You know them because you see the trauma. You see how that manifests in different ways, but you also see their incredible desire to just be loved. They just want to know somebody cares about them. And I think that is, what greater gift can you give than to take a child that's in trouble, in crisis, and to say, I value you, I love you, and I'm going to open my doors to you even though you don't know them. Yeah. I mean, that's what greater thing could you do? I mean, that is just amazing to be able to do that. So if somebody is interested in this, and maybe you've heard this today, and again, if you can't do that, share this so that people can do it. It's not just because I want shares for the press. It's because this is valuable information, and this, again, Meigs County taking care of Meigs County. Let's take care of Meigs County. Let's get our foster numbers up. Let's get something happening here. Don't sit and complain. Let's get something happening here. So if somebody wants to get a hold of you, how do they do that?
We have a website. It's www.achildiswaiting.org, or you can contact me directly, call or text 740-339-7677.
Okay, so there you go. Find out. And maybe it isn't for you. Maybe it's not going to be a right fit, but maybe there's something that you can do along in the process. And I know that there's always people that want to help in some way or another, and maybe there's some way that they can help in other ways. Maybe they can help with connecting, resources for somebody, as you said, helping with a shower or something like that for a foster care parent. There's a lot of opportunity here to make a big difference, and all you got to do is try. Is there anything else that you'd like to tell anybody?
If you have any upcoming events, festivals, fairs, or anything like that where we could set up a space to recruit out in the community, that would be great. Or if you attend a local church and we could have 5 to 10 minutes of your time to do a presentation, that would be great too.
Fantastic. Give them that contact information one more time.
The website is www.achildiswaiting.org, and my phone number is 740-339-7677.
I appreciate you being on here and what you're doing, and I know that it can't be an easy job. I know that you probably see some pretty tough stuff, and that is something that choose to make a difference, choose to make it better, and you can sit back and complain about it, or you can work for it. And thank you for choosing to work for it.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
This is Carrie Rose, Meg's Independent Press, for Wheels and Deals Community Spotlight. Sometimes we're here to entertain, sometimes we're here to be serious, and sometimes we're here to just try to make a difference and to always make Meigs County better. And that's what we're working for. Of course, you work in other areas, so this is applicable to other areas as well, regionally. So if you have any thoughts on being foster care, check out that website. And again, thank you for being here for Wheels and Deals Community Spotlight. We will see you again next week.
This week's Community Spotlight is brought to you by Wheels and Deals of Pomeroy and the Meigs Independent Press.